Okay, Chad Simmons and Dean Legge here again at the Mark Richt camp today. Chad, a pretty star-packed day. Let's talk about Georgia's commitments. For me, first of all, Terry Godwin jumps out whether he's committed or not.
I tell you what, man, the kid's impressive. I mean, he's played corner, receiver, hasn't done much wrong today. I mean, the kid makes plays. I mean, he had interceptions and broken up passes, and he's made plays with his body contorted. I mean, just the body control, the speed, the hands. I mean, me and you agree that he's kind of a sure thing, I think, on the next level, and probably NFL down the road. I mean, the kid has his act together on the field, off the field. I mean, so many guys come out here at his level and don't compete. He comes to play, and he plays hard.
Well, let me just say that, like, for instance, you say that, for instance, Taj Griffin from McEachern didn't play. We don't know why, but anyway, the point is with Terry, he did play with his team. What do you most people will wonder, and I don't think I do as much, but for me, he's a DB in college that can play some wide receiver. Are you in the same boat?
Yeah, Terry definitely, I think, if you want to look long-term, you think the most upside, where he can go and where he can play at the longest, you think corner. There's so many receivers that are in that 5'11", 6-foot category. Yes, he is an elite athlete, super hands, ball skills, quickness. But I think long-term you look at him as a 6-foot corner, a guy that can make plays on the ball. And I think people have brought up, Champ Bailey. I think he's closer to Champ than he is Malcolm Mitchell. I think he's better than Malcolm Mitchell, more athletic overall. And I think it's a better corner than Malcolm. Malcolm, I think, has the speed, downfield, but the initial quickness, the body control, the loose hips, the burst out of the breaks, all goes to Terry.
Yeah, let me say this about him before we start talking about Christian Owens from Griffin. I do think that with Terry Godwin from Callaway, what you see with him is, he could be a very, very good DB. With Malcolm could play DB because he was very athletic. Terry seems to me like a very good DB that could play almost any position. I don't know if he could play quarterback or not. They don't have, but probably could.
Yeah, well, okay. I mean, he can do what you mean. He's a great shortstop in baseball. I mean, you've seen him play baseball last year. I mean, the kid's, like you say, he's a great basketball player for their high school team. I mean, Terry, I think if you're a parent and you want your kid to be an athlete, you want him to be somewhat like Terry Godwin. I mean, the guy on any field, any court, he steps out there, he's the best player on the field.
Let me ask you this just as, obviously I'm not an analyst, a recruiting analyst, been around the game a little bit. When you all start talking about, you control only so much with national rankings, but when you start talking about in Georgia, you've got Trenton Thompson, you've got Mitch Hyatt, and you've got Terry Godwin. Those three seem like the three guys that are in the conversation for top player. Your take is that Terry would be the easiest down the road to say for sure this guy will be productive in college / the NFL?
I think so. When you look at the total picture, where you're talking about academics, character, where he's at now on the football field, his potential, and every time you see him, he never disappoints. I mean, the kid he's such a self-driven, self-motivated kid where he wants to come and compete. Nothing against guys that are out here just hanging out with the coaches. Not saying they're bad guys. When you want to see those guys that want to get better, that feel they have room to improve, that want to get out there and help their team win championships. To me, Terry, and again, I give his parents a lot of credit of helping him become that because, his mom's here today, and I guarantee she helps him motivate to play today. If she wasn't here, who knows if Terry would even play. But his mom is pushing him to be the best kid he can be, and I give her a lot of credit too.
Christian Owens, Griffin Bears won the state championship this past year. A lot of people saw that game because it was on GPB, public broadcasting. But what a lot of people didn't see was his whole year. Today, he started off a little slow. Christian's a tall guy who's not growing into his body maybe the way people would like. As the day went on in terms of being a receiver, I just witnessed a game of his. He played a lot better, made a lot more plays, made a very good grab in the corner of the end zone. Where is Christian Owens? If Georgia takes 5 receivers, 4 receivers, where is he in that pantheon of receivers?
I think you got to look and see who the other guys are first before you can kind of stack them 1 through 5. But I think, to me, Christian has to show more explosiveness. He has to fill out his frame. So many people had him pegged, 2 years ago as a tight end, more of a hybrid, Aaron White type of guy coming out of high school here at Georgia. And he almost in the same regard as Mitch Hyatt has not grown into that frame yet. I mean, Mitch is still 260. Christian's probably still around 195, 200. He has thin legs, no real bulk up top. But he's, 6'5". He has a big, long wingspan. He has very good hands, great concentration. And he's not that bad out of his breaks being a 6'4", 6'5" guy. But he has to become more physical, quicker, get better separation. But again, to me, he is that bubble, in rankings terms, low 4, high 3-star type of kid.
3 or a 4.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 4 right now. I see no reason to drop him at this moment. But we'll monitor that as we go through the season.
One guy who didn't go today, lineman from Stevenson, Chauncey Rivers. Now, there could be any number of reasons why. Maybe Chauncey didn't want to go and got some grief about it from Georgia's staff. But, two, maybe it was better to have him stuck on Trenton Thompson the whole day, which it seemed like was the case. Chauncey was here making a lot of friends today.
Yeah, I think me and you both have said numerous times Chauncey's recruiting for Georgia, probably their lead recruiter. When it comes to social media, calling kids, texting kids, and so on. So I think you're right about it's not a bad thing for him not to compete. Sure, I think the Georgia coach would love to have him out there to coach him up, to work on little things, see his fire, and just kind of evaluate him one more time this summer. But he has been around Trenton Thompson a good bit. The two have talked. He's been around Terry Godwin a good bit. We all know about him talking to Jonathan Ledbetter a lot. He's not here, but just in his ear a lot. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but, for me, I love to see guys compete. It shows me something, especially when a guy's already committed. He has all the offers to come out here and still compete, still want to get better, still want to get more familiar with the coach who's going to play for him the next level, his coaching style, his personality. But, again, not a bad thing about Chauncey. I mean, Georgia may benefit more today from him not competing and recruiting. So not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, because you're trying to turn arguably one of the top players in the country, not arguably, one of the top players in the country your way.
He's wearing the G hat. You just can't see it like you're over here because he's wearing it this way. He's wearing the Georgia hat.
Guys got to be who they are, whatever that is. I'm trying to think if there were any other commits here today. I don't think so.
No, not to Georgia.
Well, there were some to other schools, Auburn, et cetera. We're going to talk about that in the next video. But that was just a quick wrap, 7-minute wrap on Georgia's commits who participated in the Mark Richt camp this day on Friday.